Hello and welcome to the World Reflexology Foundation. We are a group of reflexologists who have a passion for helping people have better health. And in fact, we have a belief that if people around the world had reflexology to use on themselves, that the world could be a healthier place. Our mission is to improve health worldwide through self-help reflexology. What's reflexology? Reflexology is a way of helping ourselves to stay in good health. It's called prevention. And if we do have aches and pains and different discomforts, then it's a way of sometimes helping us feel better. How is it done? Well, reflexology is done by using our touch in nurturing ways on maps of the body that are believed to exist on the feet, on the hands, and on the outer ears. And let's take a look at some charts that'll show you what reflexology is visually. So now let's take a look at the World Reflexology Foundation color coordinated chart. If you notice on the left, there's the human body, the lady, but it would be the same for the man, and the colors from the top to the bottom, from the top of her head to her feet. Well, we're going to take a look at those in a minute, but notice on the feet and hands, that they're also the same colors, going from the top down to the heel of the feet and the wrist of the hands. So let's take a look. Notice the purple color of her head and neck. But that color is color coded. If you go to the toes, you notice it's the same purple color as it is in the fingers. That's indicating if you have problems, stress in your head and neck, that you would go to the fingers and toes to help get relief. If you come to the body again and notice the blue, that's for the chest area. And that means chest in front, heart and lungs inside, everything inside the chest, and then the shoulders and back, because when the shoulders are actually the top and back of the chest. And we go to the same color, the blue, on the feet and on the hands. And now if we go back to the human body, we look at the yellow and the orange. The yellow is upper abdomen, the orange is lower abdomen. And that's where you'd work on the feet, the yellow for upper abdomen, and the heels for lower abdominal pelvic area. And on the hands, similarly, the yellow for upper abdomen, the heel of the hands, the orange for lower abdominal pelvic area issues. So that's for the feet, hands, and ears as far as from the top down. Now let's take a look at the legs. Notice they're red, and you go to the small red spots on the feet and on the hands. Notice the cursor that's showing you. And then go to the arms. Notice the green representing the arms. And notice the cursor is going to show us on the outer edge of the feet, below the small toe to the heel, and also the outer edge of the hands from the small finger down to the wrist. And then down the middle of the human body, notice that there's something that looks like a ladder. And that's representing the spinal reflex area from the neck all the way down to the lower pelvis area. And if we go to the feet, notice where the feet come together below the big toe down to the heel. That's for the spinal reflexes on the feet. And then the hands, similarly, where below the thumb down towards the wrist for spinal issues. Then let's go to the ears and think when we were children, we used to try to do headstands on the ears, headstands. And notice the purple is on the bottom instead of the top. That's because the image of the human body and the outer ear is upside down. So for head and neck issues, the purple, we'd work with the earlobe area. The blue is for the chest reflex area. The yellow and orange are for the upper and lower abdominal areas. The red is for the legs, leg reflexes. The green for arm reflexes. Shoulder all the way up to the finger top where the cursor is now. That would be for the fingertips. And then notice the spinal reflexes, that curved area. So these are still the maps that we use for the feet, hands, and outer ears, showing you what the concept of reflexology and the reflexology pressure maps.
I'm going to do one thing. First, I'm going to show you my foot, but my pretend foot, and I'm going to show you on this foot where we want to work, starting with the kidney reflex in just below the ball and pad in the center of the foot, and then the ureters go down to the bladder reflex, which is both on the sole and then goes up over onto the arch of the foot. But before I work on that, I'm going to show you how I get into this position. I'm going to tilt this down just quickly. I'm going to take a pillow, which is always helpful. And I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to place it up on this pillow. And I'm going to work my foot um, accordingly to the areas, which is the kidney reflex and the bladder reflex and the ureters that connect them. So I wanted to show you how you could comfortably get your foot, if you're able to move your foot into this position. Um, I will show you again, demonstrate on my foot in a minute, but I will show you now on the plastic foot. So beginning at the kidney reflex point, we will work on that. And I do it a couple different ways depending how your body is situated. You could either use an index finger and you could touch the reflex point, move it across, moving the skin and gently working on that tissue. You could use two fingers. You could gently move that across. You can also move it up and down and up. You could take a thumb, if you can reach your thumb, and you can gently move it in little circles over that whole reflex point. And I want to explain the importance of the kidney reflexes to work them is they are great detoxifiers, removing waste from our bodies, and they help to balance our body's fluids. So they're really important to really give kind of a all over boost for our bodies, plus the adrenals, which sit on top. So you're kind of getting a bonus if you want to kind of calm your body and remove your waste. So I'm using my fingers moving across, kind of breaking up that tissue gently, up and down. Now we're going to move down the ureter, which goes over onto the bladder reflex. So it's both on the sole of the foot and over to the arch. So again, I'm moving in different directions, nice and slow. You could move up, down, all around, and you don't want to move too fast and you don't want to go too deep. So it's just a nice, gentle pressure. If I feel something tender, I'm going to stop and I'm going to either avoid it or I'm going to gently just work it until that isn't tender anymore. And if it continues to be, I'm not going to work on that area. So again, we've got it all on this and on that. So I'm going to now do it again on my foot so we can work together because I think that's a nice. Now we have 2 feet. Sometimes you can't do both feet. Right now I cannot lift my right foot, so I will demonstrate again on my left. I will pull my foot up, and for the sake of demonstrating to show you, I will suspend it out in the air. So I have to use my 2 index fingers comfortably in this position. So I'm going to find my kidney reflex, and let's all together just gently work that kidney reflex, moving across in the center of the foot, just below the ball and pad. And remember, working the greater area is always a benefit. Getting a little bit of the adrenals at the top and just gently breathing through and working on the kidney reflex. Now we have 2 feet, we have 2 kidneys. So when you have more time, you're going to want to work both feet. And again, if you can't work one foot like I can't, I would then do I'd work on my hand or my ears. So I'm gently just working that kidney reflex. I'm going to now, because I like to connect the two, I'm just going to go down the center and across, and I'm going to work that bladder reflex. Again, my 2 fingers work really nicely. Cross and up, I can use my thumb here, which is nice, and I'm just gently moving that tissue, that skin, oh, I'm sorry, underneath my thumb, if you can see. So I'm just gently working the whole area of that bladder reflex. Now, again, this is just a quick demonstration. At home, you would want to definitely do this longer than this 1 or 2 minutes. I'm even going to just gently move this tissue because it feels nice. Um, so, yes, you want to take your time. You want to go nice and slow, starting off light, never needing to go too deep. And you want to just breathe through it and try to get both feet if possible. And that would be the kidney reflex and the bladder reflex on your foot. And again, remember, it's a nice detoxifier. So if you're not feeling 100%, it's really great just to kind of flush those kidneys and that bladder, just reflex points, just to kind of give your body a little extra boost. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a great demonstration and a great explanation. And I hope you were all able to follow along. I know not everyone is so flexible like Sarah is. Sarah, you're really flexible and you make it seem so easy, but really use whatever you feel, however direction you can reach. And Sarah showed how to work with either with the thumb or with the fingers. So really great. We have a lot of options here. Now we're coming to the hand reflexes, and that gives us even more options. So take a moment to look at the illustration before Paul will go and explain it and demonstrate it on his own hands.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. So you see it on the screen. You also received a workbook page. So we're going to refer to that workbook page, kind of a blow up of that. So you see the right hand, the palm surface of the right hand, and you have the kidney area right in here with the adrenal sitting on top, coming all the way down to the bladder, the urinary bladder reflex. And so you can refer to this in the materials that you've been sent, just so we can bring everything together. Now you'll notice that there is, I'll pull this back a little bit, the landmarks that we look for between the forefinger and the second finger, a line coming straight down. There's that kidney reflex. And then here is the joint where the thumb joins the hand coming straight across, and there's the kidney reflex. So we have this L-shaped feature that helps to tell us where that is located. And so now we get down to the demonstration. So I want everyone, before we start working on ourselves, everybody just close your eyes for a second, take a couple of nice deep breaths, and we're going to relax together and we're going to work together on our kidney and bladder reflexes. All right, so we have from my demonstrator hand right here, that L feature that we saw. I just demonstrated that L feature that shows us where we are. And this here then is the kidney reflex. We begin to work on that. And I'll be working on my natural hand here in a moment. And then we come down right to the edge of this area below the thumb, but yet above the wrist. So the wrist is another good landmark. So we're above the wrist. And we're working this whole area, not just the flat area on the palm, but also coming over and coming over and coming over and just the radius that's right here. All right, so as we now all have that visualization, we'll just begin to work on the hand. So here we have that that kidney reflex again. Everybody working. The nice thing about the hands is that wherever you are, if you're on a bus, in a train, in a plane, probably not when you're driving, unless you're a passenger, but you can work this kidney reflex right in here, and we can work that with the one finger. We can work it with the thumb, just rolling nicely over that area, rolling nicely over this area, and just applying that pressure that doesn't have to be strong, doesn't have to hurt. The light pressure can be just as effective and sometimes more effective than heavy pressure. Okay, so everybody should have that work done on the kidney, and then we move as if we're moving down the ureter, coming down to where we found the urinary bladder. So all in through here, the palm surface, coming around the radius, coming around the radius, coming around the radius. So this whole area, we can do this with our thumb. For me, it's easiest to do with my thumb. Come from the bottom, come from the sides, come from around this way. Using the fingers, you can come from this way. Just working that whole area. Does everyone find themselves becoming a little bit relaxed, taking a little bit deeper breaths as we are working on ourselves and relaxing? All right. And as Sarah was saying, we have two kidneys. So we have that same spot on the left hand. We have just the one bladder, but the urinary bladder, one urinary bladder is in that same spot on the left hand as well. And so you want to work both sides for that balance. And again, as we've said before, if there is any indication of anything unusual or abnormal going on with the kidneys, we do recommend that you see a healthcare professional for that, to be sure that everything is going well for your body. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Paul. That was so relaxing, and thank you for making us breathe. Sometimes we don't realize how important that part is, to breathe. But I do certainly feel relaxed after now the feed and just watching it, and also working a little bit on my hand. So nice, because the hands, you can work your hands anytime, everywhere, as Paul said, not as a driver, but as a passenger you could, or in a meeting. So, and if not everyone can reach their feet. So here you have the hands available. Now, when we're coming to the ears, last but not least, so I show you first the illustration overview where you will find the kidney reflexes and the urinary bladder reflexes on your ears, and then I will guide you through it so that you can find that on your own ears. So take a moment to look at the illustration. All right, so coming to the ears for kidney reflexes and bladder reflexes, I will show it on this plastic ear first, and then I will guide you how to find it on your own ear. So you can already follow along if you would like to, showing it this way. The easiest way to find your kidney and bladder reflexes on the ear is you might want to start in the lower valley close to the ear canal. Never put your finger in the ear canal, but if you put your index finger close to the ear canal, that's in the lower valley. And then you're moving the finger up over a slight ridge further up into a very small valley until you can't get any further. It's a very pronounced ridge. You're getting stuck in underneath. And that's exactly where you will find then the kidney reflex. Now the bladder reflex, urinary bladder reflex, for that, you will just move your index finger closer to your face. And then on your bladder reflex on your ears. I know it's a very small place, the upper valley here. And since our ears, this is a big plastic ear, but our own ears are so small that when you're up on the kidney reflex and moved your finger closer to the face, and then you flatten out your finger a little bit so that the upper part of the index finger pad is lying in that valley, you can hold both points at the same time. So let's try this out. Index finger, I show it on one ear. Eventually you can do both ears at the same time, but let's start with one ear. Index finger, you could use your middle finger. I prefer my index finger, but it's okay, whatever finger it feels best. Start in the lower valley, feel the edge of the ear canal, and then move your finger up, the tip of your index finger up over that slight ridge into the very small upper valley. And then it's stuck against that narrow ridge, we call that. You can't go any further. Now your tip of the index finger should be on or is on the kidney reflex. Now if you move and slide your index finger a little bit closer to the face and flatten it out a little bit. So I know you can't see it exactly what I'm doing in my ear, but I'm using the upper part, the tip and the upper part of the pad of my index finger. And now you can just hold it, and we will hold it together. I will show it on my other ear. So if you want to follow along, do it on both ears. Coming from the lower valley, from the ear canal edge there, over the slight ridge, up into the small upper valley. Slide your index finger a little bit closer to the face. And now you can hold both ears at the same time. Now I want you to drop your shoulders. Maybe you have a table in front of you. You can put the elbows on the table. You can even put your chin in your hands, in your palms. And we'll all take a nice deep breath. And exhale, equally important. And just holding. The ears, we're not working them most of the time. 90% of ear reflexology is holding. So let's do that for a moment. Keep breathing. Keep relaxing your shoulders. If you don't have a table in front of you, you can have a big pillow on your belly and rest your elbows on the pillow. Important is really that you relax your shoulders so that your neck is nice and smooth and relaxed. In ear reflexology, we are very patient. It's holding. And you may think, oh, it's not doing anything, but yes, it does. Just notice. Notice your breathing. And maybe notice something under the tip of your finger. Maybe you notice a little pulse under the tip of your index finger. Maybe you even notice a little tingling underneath your index finger or middle finger, whichever finger you're using. Remember what Paul said, we are electrical beings. You can feel that in the ears. You can also, not moving your finger, but you can do a tiny little circle. Maybe you can see that I'm just rotating my index finger a little bit, and then I'm holding it again. Now, in a real session, you would hold it, of course, much, much longer. You can hold it 5 minutes, 10 minutes. There's no limit until if it feels good, just keep holding. So take a nice last deep breath before we're getting out, very slowly out of the ear. And maybe you're feeling as relaxed as I do right now. So these were the demonstrations of the feet, where to work for the kidney reflexes, on the feet, on the hands, and on the ears. And again, this was a demonstration today, so please hold the points or work the points much longer when you work today or tomorrow or next week or anytime you work. And of course, you can work multiple times a day. There is really no limit as long as it feels good.
It was good to see a lot of you working on yourself, following along, not only watching, but also working on yourself. That's the idea. And by the way, in this video, we had to go very quickly to cover a lot of information. What we encourage you to do is to, like I'm going to do with my voice now, is slow down. Spend a lot of time working on those reflexes as frequently as you reasonably can as well. Now, after you do reflexology, it's often suggested to drink extra fluids to help keep yourself hydrated. And coming back to the reflexes for a moment, remember the top priority is the one that you want to work on most. If you don't have time to do all three, be sure to do the first one if you can physically. We'd love for you to share this information, help us spread the information around. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and also non-vocational. So it's self-help work that we teach here. And one of the things that we could ask your help for, we already mentioned one, which is to share this with friends and neighbors, family members. But also, if we would appreciate your donations. Why? Because although we all at the World Reflexology Foundation, we're all volunteers, it costs us money to get some of the projects done that we're working on. For example, we're translating a lot of the articles that are on the website. If you go to the website, worldreflexologyfoundation.org, you notice that there are a lot of articles there, and also they're being translated into other languages from around the world, a long-term project, and also the videos. And eventually we'll get to having all the videos with voiceovers from around the world as well. So all of these projects are ambitious. They do take quite a bit of money. So if you have the situation where you could donate, we would appreciate your helping us. Just be as generous as you can. But most importantly, it's not to help us with the projects as much as to help us get the projects out to the world, to help the world be, as we said at the beginning, to help the world be a healthier place through self-help reflexology. So bless you. Thank you so very much for being with us. And until the next time, we wish you very vibrant, good health.